He laughed at her in front of everyone. A billionaire, smiling wide, shaking his head, certain the case was already over. The black maid standing alone had no lawyer, no power, no chance. Or so he thought. The laugh cut through the courtroom like a blade. It was sharp, careless, and loud enough to turn heads. The billionaire leaned back in his chair, arms loose, smile wide, eyes shining with easy pride. He did not hide his joy. He did not try to soften it. To him, this was already finished. Across the room stood the woman he was laughing at. She wore a simple gray dress, faded at the edges. Her shoes were clean but worn thin. Her hands were folded in front of her, steady but tired. Her back was straight, though the weight of the room pressed down on her shoulders. She was alone. No lawyer beside her. No briefcase. No papers stacked high, just her. Her name was Evelyn Carter, and for 22 years she had cleaned the billionaires' homes. The laughter faded into a low hum of whispers. People glanced at one another, then quickly looked away. No one stepped forward. No one spoke. Silence settled, heavy and thick, like air before a storm. Evelyn felt it all. The eyes, the doubt, the quiet judgment. She felt the old ache in her knees, the one that came from years of scrubbing floors on cold mornings. She felt the soft burn in her chest that came whenever she was treated like she did not belong in rooms like this. But her face did not change. She stood calm, still unmoving. The judge asked if she understood that representing herself could cost her everything. Her home, her savings. Her name. Evelyn nodded once. She understood. What no one in that room understood was how much she had already survived, long before flowers and polished court benches. Evelyn's life had been shaped by duty and loss. She was raised in a small town where money was scarce, but pride ran deep. Her father worked nights. Her mother cleaned houses during the day. They taught her that dignity was not given. It was carried at 18. Evelyn married young. At 20, she became a mother. At 23, she became a widow. Her husband never came home from his final deployment. The news arrived in a quiet knock on the door. 2 officers stood on the porch, their faces tight, their words careful. Evelyn remembered the smell of rain that day, the way the air felt too still, like the world was holding its breath. She raised her son alone. She worked 2 jobs. She cleaned offices before dawn and homes until dusk. When her son slept, she studied. Not law books, not business guides, just people. How they spoke, how they lied, how power moved in quiet ways. When her son grew older and joined the service, she felt fear but said nothing. She understood sacrifice. She had lived it. Then the call came again. Different year. Same silence. Same knock. Her son never came home either. That was the day something inside Evelyn hardened, not with anger but with resolve. She had nothing left to lose that truly mattered. Only her name. Only her truth. The billionaire Marcus Hale had hired her after buying his 3rd estate. She cleaned his kitchens, his halls, his guest rooms that smelled of fresh paint and unused furniture. She learned his habits. His temper, his need to control every space he entered. She saw things, heard things, documents left on desks, conversations that assumed she was invisible. She said nothing. She worked. She listened when she was fired without warning. Accused of theft she did not commit. Her world shook but did not break. When the lawsuit followed, demanding damages that would ruin her, she did not cry. She read the papers slowly. Carefully she chose to stand alone. Now, in the courtroom, Marcus Hale's smile returned as the judge gave her the floor. He watched her like one might watch a child trying to lift something far too heavy. Evelyn took a breath. She smelled old wood and dust. She felt the smooth surface of the stand beneath her fingers. She felt the steady beat of her heart. She began to speak. Her voice was soft but clear. Each word landed with purpose. She did not rush. She did not beg. She told the truth, piece by piece. Years of service. The sudden accusation. The missing evidence. Marcus shifted in his seat. His smile thinned. As Evelyn spoke, something changed in the room. People began to listen. Not because she was loud, but because she was precise, calm, unshaken. She presented records she had kept quietly. Dates, times, notes written after long days, when her hands still smelled of cleaner and polish. She explained how she had learned to protect herself by writing everything down. Marcus's lawyer stood to object. The judge raised a hand. Let her continue. The billionaire leaned forward now. His confidence flickered. Just for a moment, Evelyn reached into her bag and placed a small device on the table. A recorder. She explained how, after overhearing threats, she had begun to protect herself the only way she knew. How the room held its breath as the audio played. His voice filled the space. Cold, sharp, clear. The words were undeniable. Marcus's face drained of color. This was not anger on Evelyn's face. It was not pride. It was peace. One of the people seated behind her stood, then another. A man she recognized from the estate security team. A woman from the accounting firm. One by one they rose, silent, steady. They had been waiting. They had seen the truth. The judge called for order. But something larger had already shifted. The power in the room no longer belonged to money or status. It belonged to truth. Marcus tried to speak. His voice cracked. His lawyer whispered urgently. Papers were shuffled, but the damage was done. Evelyn stood quietly as the ruling came down. The case dismissed. The accusations void. A formal apology ordered. An investigation opened. She did not smile. She simply closed her eyes for a moment and breathed. Outside the courtroom, porters gathered. Cameras flashed. Questions flew. Evelyn stepped past them, untouched by the noise. A young woman called out, asking how it felt to stand alone against a billionaire. Evelyn paused. She turned. She said that standing alone is not weakness when you stand on truth. She said dignity does not need permission. She said silence can carry strength louder than shouting. Those words spread faster than any headline. Marcus resigned within weeks. Contracts vanished. Allies disappeared. His name became a warning. Evelyn returned home to a small house filled with light. She placed her son's photo back on the shelf. She brewed tea. She rested in the quiet that followed. The world learned something it often forgets, that power does not always enter a room loudly. Sometimes it walks in wearing worn shoes and a steady heart. Sometimes it stands alone. And sometimes when laughter rises too quickly. It is because the truth is about to speak. If this story moved you, share your thoughts below. Tell us where you're watching from, and subscribe for more stories that honor silent strength, quiet courage, and the power of standing firm when the world doubts you.